Just quieten down, baby.
Per capita export value.
Libraries.
Minister, are you embarrassed by your behavior today?
There's a lot of bleeding hearts around.
Do you have the fortitude or the gonads to stand up and come across here and say that to me, you son of a bitch?
Just watch me.
He certainly went too far, Mr. Speaker, when I saw him stick his tongue out.
Contemptuous disregard.
More than a slab of bacon talking here.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility.
I lost my temper.
What is the nature of your thoughts?
The word was F-A-R-T.
Oh, that's hot. Oh, hot. Welcome, oh my God, to Canadian Politics is Boring. That was too hot.
The dangers of ASMR.
I am Jesse. This is Reese. Say hello,
Hi.
Reese. Hi.
Hi.
Yay.
Are we going to do
This
is
is the thing
show
we're doing.
about
This is the show.
yeah. Politics, but for people who hate politics?
That's me.
That's,
I really do. I still hate it. In fact, the more I talk about it, the more I fucking hate it. So anyway,
I've made you care about something you hate.
I mean, care about it as in like you've made me pay attention a few times and then gotten me a little angry about it. You didn't get me angry. The topics got... Anyway, this is not... I just want to remind you that the whole premise of the show is you trying to dig up the most... Because I know what you're doing, and you've done it a few times. Either that or you're running out of material, which God, I hope not, because we're hoping to do this show for a long time.
You've seen the current state of Canadian politics.
I have.
The dumpster fire that is raging. So...
that's fair. I mean, we're never going to. We've barely scratched the surface of history, and everything that's going on right now is just so much. I was going to say is originally the podcast came out where your job was to dig up the most ridiculous parts of political Canadian history to prove to me just how insane Canadian politics were, and then as time went on, you're like, I'm going to sneak in some actual to God, some real nuggets of boring education. Like, did you know that the third person sitting to the left of the aisle in the Senate is named John? It's true. We'll talk about that for now. I'm like, I don't care, man. So like, I'm just here and letting you know 2 years later, I've still got my eye on you. Okay, give me some good shit.
That's good. That's good. And the listeners should too. They should let us know.
It was a horrible example of a boring episode that you gave. Like
we shouldn't sleepwalk into being a normal podcast about politics.
Fuck that.
No, we've got to be the drunk relative of political podcasts.
Oh, I like that. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Make that into a T-shirt?
The drunk relative of Canadian political content. I don't know, whatever.
It was
better first time. I'll be honest. We had a SpeakPipe message.
I was just going to say, before we got the SpeakPipe message, which I'm very excited about, by the way.
I don't know what that is, but cool.
We got a bunch of emails from people too. We're just being like, a lot of people are reaching out and saying hi lately, and it's really, really nice. So I just want to say thank you.
Lots of
listener.
love, lots of reviews, lots of kind words, and we really appreciate
emails and speak pipes, and it's been really touching.
It's really cool.
Yes,
awesome.
One of them, I remember, said that they wanted you, Reese, to give us more historical.
Well, we did JFK and Diefenbaker
That's true.
last week, and this episode is going to straddle both the modern and past world. That's not right. The past and the modern world.
No, I like that. The past world.
Past world.
I feel like the beginning
Welcome
of this
to Past World, where history lives. It's like Westworld.
I can always picture you as an animatronic kind of creature in my mind.
One of those cowboy sex robots from Westworld.
Yep, that's how I picture you. When I first met you. Yeah,
he looks like a cowboy sex robot. If ever I saw one. Anyway, brilliant Welsh actor in that show, Anthony Hopkins.
Was he Welsh?
He is. Well, he still is.
Was he also a sex robot?
No.
No.
Well, not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to play the SpeakPipe message, and I'm going to let you know.
Yes.
First up, I'm going to lay all my cards on the table.
Okay.
This one is from a friend.
Oh, that doesn't count.
A good friend, but I had to play it because he had COVID recently, and he also had a newborn baby, and he couldn't be anywhere near his own newborn baby for a few days.
Oh.
So I was like, and he sent this message, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to play a message. And he also suggests, well, I'll just play it. I'll just play it.
Yeah.
Hey, Canadian politics is boring. This is Owen. I'm currently in a small town called Barry in Wales. I say small. It's quite large, actually. It's pretty bigger than Halifax, to be honest with you. Looking out over the sea here as I walk the dog in the morning, having dropped my little girl in school. I would like to know more about the island of Saint Pierre and Miquelon off the I think it's the northeast coast of Canada. I think it's been notable by its absence from your excellent podcast so far. I have dropped in on Google Maps and done a street view on the island, and it is quite something. All French cars, French signs. I mean, I realise we've got Quebec, and it's quite similar, but this is very much France beyond France, and I think that's really interesting, and I'd love to know more. I'd love to know more about how that fits into how Canada operates and how France operates. I love the idea they ship in their escargot from France directly, and they ship in their cars from France directly. I think that's remarkable. Anyway, cool. Bye.
Oh, that was nice. Is that how Welsh people are sarcastic? Excellent podcast. Is that? I don't know. I think pure sarcasm. Like
no. He does like the show and he does listen, and not just because I think only a really good friend would listen to a podcast that is getting close to 200 episodes and listen just to be nice and be a good friend.
That's
I think
true.
He does enjoy.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Owen.
So I thought.
Hope you're feeling better. Hope your kid's doing okay.
No, it's his family. He's got a really, really nice family, and I think he's back out of isolation now. But I was like, do you know what? Let's play his message and let's do this episode. Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
I thought we had covered this.
No,
didn't we cover? Because I know there's a place. I know this, and I thought I learned it from you. Because fuck, man, the past 2 years has been just like, all right, Jesse, time to learn. I
buckle up, Jesse. Get your brain out of the jar, put it back in your skull.
But I like it in the jar.
It's
shiny and warm.
Rinse off the formaldehyde. And
I do know that there is a place in Canada.
There is.
That is
there's several.
A part. Thank you. Jesus. That is a part of France, not a part of Quebec, but actually legally a part of France. And I could have sworn you and I did an episode about this.
We didn't.
I think we did. I think if you look back on our episodes, this is how many episodes we've done. We can't
just loop background. This episode is all about the drunken adventures of Johnny McDonald.
That sounds familiar. I feel like
we haven't done this episode.
No, okay. That's all I really know is that there's a place in Canada that is actually a part of France. And that's about all I know. So teach me, Obi-Wan.
Teach you. I will. Okay. Risi Wan Manobi.
Risi Wan Manobi.
Okay, so Saint Pierre and Miquelon is it's a self-governing.
I already guarantee that's not how it's pronounced, but I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I'm not reading it. I'm just knowing. I just know you.
So it's in the Northwest Atlantic Ocean, right just south of Newfoundland and Labrador.
I've heard it was around there, yeah.
It's the only part of Canada that used to be New France. So France used to have the vast majority of like Eastern Canada under its control before the British took it off them in a few nasty fights. And this is the last bit that exists that is still
Acadia
French.
As an
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's 90...
which is in its own separate thing, by the way, which one day I actually would like you to tackle how Acadia split and became both Quebec and New Orleans, which that's like a horrible, horrible generalization of the entire thing. But I would love to do an episode on that someday.
Maybe. See if I'm in the mood, it's up to me. Anyway, that is interesting. We should. But anyway,
It really is up to you, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm joking, we can. So as it stands, it's a 93 square mile island with a population of 6,000.
Oh my God.
Like Owen said, there's a bunch, you go there, there's Renaults, there's Citroens, there's Peugeots, there's all these cars that you don't see, and then it just literally looks like you are in France in terms of the road signs and the vehicles. And I find it really fascinating because it's the character of it, even though it's obviously surrounded by a bunch of Atlantic provinces, it's largely seems to be, so closely linked economically and in terms of politics all the way back to France and Europe. And despite... And this
so you're saying it looks like you're in France?
Yeah. It kind of looks like
the same architecture, the same cobblestone and like cafes and rude people. Just
poodles taking a shit everywhere. No, it's not. It looks like it genuinely. It kind of looks like a mishmash of France. Like the cars and the signs and all those things are French, but then the architecture and the building stuff, all the buildings look a bit more like Atlantic Canadian. So it's kind of is a kind of unusual mishmash. But
so just looks like New Brunswick, basically.
No, because New Brunswick, you don't see Renaults driving around New Brunswick. You don't see small European cars driving around.
So it's the cars that makes the difference. Okay.
I think so.
There's lots of like, well, I suppose not purely. I mean, if you want pure French, you got to go into the heart of Quebec. But like, okay, all right.
But that's it. But and this is despite the fact that they didn't even have a direct flight to France for a long time. They opened Saint Pierre Airport to overcome that.
How big is this place? I want to see.
It's 242 square kilometers or 93 square miles. It's actually 2 islands. So there's
Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
Yeah. So there's a flight between the islands, and there's also a direct flight to France. But before, they used to have to go via Halifax, Montreal, or via St. John's to get to France from there.
That's so fucking cool. It's
and they even got like French police.
Tiny, and it's almost like 3 islands, and 2 of them are connected by like a really thin land bridge sort of thing.
But it's so close to like Newfoundland, and it's
very close to Newfoundland.
Yeah. So the story of how it ended up being there,
the island itself.
No,
are we going to go into Pangea here? Like,
Originally, it was the everyone's favorite bit of Pangea, and then there was an earthquake, and if you base it on, I base my understanding of continental shifts on the film Ice Age.
Right.
So at some point, a squirrel put an acorn in a crack, and then that's how it was formed.
Thank you, Reese.
No, I'm no prehistoric geologist, but anyway. So in 1520, the Portuguese explorer João Alvares Fungundes rolls off the tongue.
Jesus, Reese.
I won't lie, my Portuguese is shabby at best. He now I say he discovered it was already being used by the Mi'kmaq people for centuries, but he, as a European, stumbled on the island.
The Saint Pierre and Miquelon were being used by the Mi'kmaq.
Yes, it was already frequented by them. They didn't have a permanent settlement, but they knew.
I did not realize that the Mi'kmaq people reached up that high north.
Apparently so.
I mean, they're okay.
So anyway, it wasn't. So Europeans turned up. We're like, no one's been here before, despite all these people. Anyway, so
I mean, as she goes, right?
Exactly. And they named the island group the 11,000 Virgins, as the day marked the feast of Saint Ursula and her virgin companions.
Hold on.
So.
Just give
11,000 virgins.
Just back up. So, first off, they weren't talking about the natives on the island, I'm assuming.
No. They went, oh, look, 11,000 virgins on an island.
Yeah.
I know what we can call this.
That's like a fucking game show. Honestly.
No, it was because it was the 21st of October, and it was the feast day of Saint Ursula with her virgin companions.
Virgin companions.
Exactly.
This is a movie I definitely want to watch.
If you have sex, you're no longer allowed to follow Ursula around. It's just to go and recruit another one. It's HR nightmare trying to maintain 11,000 virgins. Constant recruitment cycle. Anyway.
I've never heard of this person in my life.
No wonder she's a saint.
No, but I've never heard of this person in my life, and you talk about her like it's Bob from down the street.
You know Saint Ursula.
And her 1,000 virgins.
I think she had a sitcom in the 90s.
The 1,000 Virgins. Yeah.
Exactly.
You could just they nicknamed everything in the 90s.
Exactly. Anyway, and then a French explorer called Jacques Cartier, 16 years later, claimed the islands. Jacques Cartier. For the French king, but apparently by that time, Basque and Breton fishermen from France were going up there to fish, but it wasn't permanently settled until the end of the 17th century. And in 1670, there were 4 permanent inhabitants. And
four,
and that had grown to 22 by 1691.
Just 4 people hanging out.
Yeah.
What?
Just 4 people lived there.
So you're telling me that there was 4 people living there, and they're like, "This is fine. This is fine. We've got this 2 giant islands all to ourselves. We're France."
Yeah.
That's how that happened. I mean, they held a vote. 3 out of 4 people said we're France.
No. So that was the thing. So then when it grew to 22, and then because Britain and France were didn't like each other, and they're like, "No, I want Canada. No, it's mine." Because they were kind of doing that.
Right.
I saw it first. Yeah, well, I like it more.
Right.
You don't even use it. So the British Navy started to pillage the camps.
Should write elementary school plays about history.
Exactly.
I could see that going very, very well for you. Yeah.
It's like, Hitler before World War II. I'm being really good, I promise. I've tidied my room. I am really good. I think he's lying.
Are you coming to the elementary school play? I don't know. What's it called again? It's called Hitler as a Kid.
Oh, young Hitler.
Young Hitler.
Anyway,
it seems a bit dark, doesn't it? Well, I mean, no. It's from what I understand, the kids love it. So it's a lot of painting, a lot of finger painting.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of tiny Lederhausen outfits. Anyway,
Hitler gets his first mustache. It's a musical.
And messes up his styling immediately. Anyway, so in the British Navy started to harass people. So by the early 1700s, the islands were once again uninhabited because they were like, we keep trying to set up camps and a little house, and
the British come over and say, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, and go on, clear off, you buggers, like that. So then France ceded the islands to the British, and at the under the Treaty of Utrecht, I think that's how you pronounce it. I think is German, which ended the war.
You're just killing it with languages today, buddy.
Utrecht. I'm sure it's Utrecht. Anyway, it ended the war. This is the War of Spanish Succession in 1713. There were a lot of wars at this time. And the British renamed Saint Pierre to Saint Peter. And a small numbers of British and North American settlers began arriving. But then under the Treaty of Paris in 1763, which put an end to the 7 Years' War, France gave all of its North American possessions back to Britain, and then gave the fishing rights to France along the Newfoundland coast as part of that, and kind of got the island back.
Hold on, you said that who gave what to who after the seventh?
They just kept handing it back. Britain and France just kept handing it back and forth all the time.
Oh. Yeah.
And then during the US Revolutionary War, France supported the US. So Britain again invaded and destroyed the colony in 1778.
Jesus.
Just to get back at France.
These poor fuckers who live there, man.
And at that point, the entire population was 2,000 and they all had to go back to France.
Oh, wow.
And then the French returned and they were again expelled by the British in 1793.
It's like a kid being bounced back and forth between parents getting a divorce. Like,
and then they installed British settlers, and the British settlers were chased out by French troops in 1796. And then at the Treaty of Amiens,
this is kind of funny.
I know,
honestly.
I know. It's like a proper tiger rope kind of thing. And then the Treaty of Amiens in 1802 returned the islands to France, but then Britain reoccupied them just a year later. And then they went back to France.
I wonder if there's like one person who just kind of stuck it out on the island, watching all this happen back and forth, like, I'm not moving. I ain't going anywhere. And they're just watching their friend. All right, I'll see you in a year or two.
It's like, but it's almost like you've been kicked off the island, and then a year later you go back because they've cleared the other people off, and you go, oh, they messed with my stuff. It's like that poster wasn't on that wall. It's kind of like so. And then again, Treaty of Paris, 1814, Britain gave the islands back to France, but then they occupied them again in 1815 during the 100 Days War.
Jesus Christ.
And then France then reclaimed it again because the British left it uninhabited. But all structures and buildings...
No idea. This literally just keeps going.
I know.
This is crazy.
All the structures have been destroyed.
Or had dicks painted on them.
Or had dicks painted on them, exactly. Yeah. Someone had rubbed their balls on all the door handles, so they just had to burn it down. And then it is very petty. I mean,
and they just left like Polaroids of their balls touching all the doorknobs and like posting on the doors so that they know. You know?
Exactly. And then the islands were once again resettled in 1816 by Basques, Bretons, and Normans, and they also people from Newfoundland moved there. So yeah, And then because they managed to not be chased off and things calmed down a little bit, it became quite a prosperous fishing colony thereafter.
In 1860 what?
That would have been after 1816.
1816. Okay.
Yeah. So things chilled out a bit then.
What the fuck do people keep going back? Who's like, hey, you know what? I think we should really move. Like, let's go to the New World, or let's go up north, or somewhere. Like, I hear Saint Pierre and Miquelon, or St. Peter, as it might be called, depending on who's got it right now, sounds like a real happening place. It's just a roll of the dice. See how long we get to live there for.
Exactly.
Like, who keeps, like, come on.
maybe they had like a really good branding operation. They were like posters all around Paris saying it's not as much hassle as if you heard. Like
75% less scrotums on doorknobs.
Exactly.
Year, yeah.
If they chase you off the island, we'll chase them back. It's a long tradition that's run for over a century. I think they went back because it was good fishing and you could make money fishing there.
Oh, it's right in the strait, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's near the strait, is it?
It's also
it's nowhere. Is it near the strait? Fuck, I don't know where the strait is.
And then in the late 1800s, it became famous as being the only time the guillotine has been used in North America.
Jesus.
So Joseph Neal was convicted of killing Mr. Coupard on the 30th of December, 1888, and was subsequently executed by guillotine on the 24th of August, 1889.
What did he do?
He killed somebody called Mr. Coupard.
I thought you were just going to end it at he killed, just like a movie monster. Just he kills.
He just kills.
He just walks around and kills.
Why did you chop his head off with a guillotine? He kills.
But like we've been hanging, as we've talked about before, up to that point. So the guillotine is the only time it has ever happened in North America. Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, it wasn't fashionable. They just shoot you or chop your head off with a sword or drop a piano on you from 3 stories above. It was like a French
Those were the
invention.
good old days, the piano dropping.
I know, or an anvil. Or they would build a time machine, go into the future, bring a car back and run you over with a car. That was popular in the 1800s.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the map here, and I think we did
let me tell you a bit more about the guillotine first.
Okay.
So the device.
I know what a guillotine is.
Yeah, but this guillotine they brought over had to be shipped over from Martinique in the Caribbean.
They shipped it? They literally shipped it to kill one person.
Yeah, because you could only kill people with guillotines. Otherwise, you're immortal, apparently. It's like Highlander.
Well, hold on. You said this is the only time it's ever been used. So they literally brought it over to, what happened after they killed the guy? They're like, okay, we're done. Ship it back. Like, what?
Well, it didn't arrive in working order, so they had to fix it. And they no one was willing to perform the execution, so they pressurized a recent immigrant to do it.
Oh, wow.
And it's still there today as in a museum.
Oh, wow. So why did they not continue killing people after that? Why didn't they not?
I guess there were no more murders, and then no one wanted to use the guillotine anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm looking at downtown Saint Pierre or Miquelon. I don't know, the southern. It's a cool place. Yeah, I'm just looking at a Google topographical Google map, and I'm saying it's a cool place. I don't fucking know. It's just lines, white lines in a green background. Looks like a place that I'd like to go visit. Love white lines. Yeah,
look at those nondescript bumps.
Right? Oh, that's my perfect vacation. Just
so
I don't know who this voice is. This is and you can't see, but I'm bobbing my head back and forth too. Yeah. It's fine.
It sounds like you've got a cigar in your mouth as well. Some kind of 1950s captain of industry.
Gotta get this guillotine to Saint Pierre, see? Gotta kill one man. Who's up for the job, huh?
You're new. You have to do it.
Come to Saint Pierre and Miquelon. If you're new, we might make you kill someone. Oh, yeah,
maybe that was like part of permanent residency. The application was.
Well, you're saying they were really good with posters and promoting, like,
exactly
people moving into.
Ever wanted to kill a man? Move to Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
See, you've got away with words much better than I do.
Ever wanted to kill a man with an elaborate death device? Like.
You're much better at marketing than I am. Okay, I've never wanted to kill a man with an elaborate death device.
You say I'm good at marketing, but I don't think I'd last long in a marketing agency with those kind of slogans. But.
Reese, we're trying to sell yogurt. This is the third time this week you've brought up the slogan, ever wanted to kill a man.
I got a slogan for yogurt, or yogurt as you call it. It just looks like cum. It tastes better. I promise.
Jesus Christ.
See, I wouldn't last a week.
Go back to your ever wanted to kill a man slogans. They're much better. Domino's Pizza. Ever wanted to kill a man? It can be used in all sorts of
anyway, Domino's Pizza. It really has hair on top. There we go.
I just had a mouthful of coffee.
Anyway, 1903, the colony toyed with joining the United States, but nothing happened. So it wasn't really. You could kind of say somebody had the idea. Maybe somebody suggested it. Nothing happened. But during the early 20th century, the fisheries became unprofitable, and lots of people moved to Nova Scotia and Quebec from the islands.
Oh, wow.
And also the draft was imposed on all male inhabitants of conscription age in 1914, and it kind of crippled the fisheries because a lot of it was just old men, women, and children left to run the fishing fleets.
Fun.
And 400 men from the colony.
A fishing fleet with nothing but children on board. That'd be,
exactly.
That'd be amazing.
Hey, that's a TV show.
Right? toddler trawler.
Exactly. Deadliest Catch Junior. Just kids unable to reach the dials and kind of
and
navigational instruments in the boat.
Is that fish or my drawers? I can't tell where the scent is coming from. It smells.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Exactly. It's kind of I mean, it's kind of difficult. Like, how do you, if you live on a small island and you've kind of just go, hey kids, no school today. Good news. You're gonna.
Bad news is getting the fish and trawler.
You know that really dangerous job that your parents do. But 25% of those 400 men who went to fight in World War I died, and
for how? Sorry, how many?
25% of the 400 men who left the island to fight in World War I died. So
Jesus,
it's a big hit on the population.
I don't even know.
25%.
I don't know. What's with the World War? I mean, like,
it's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, but like statistically speaking, is that good? I don't know. You got a perspective is everything, right? So like,
I think a 25% death rate is. I don't think you would kind of ever describe that as good. We lost.
I'm getting a phone call from a scammer. Hold on.
Answer it. Put it on speakerphone.
Hello? They never pick up.
Hi, this is Service Canada. We have got an order to suspend your social insurance number on an immediate basis.
Oh boy.
Because your social has been found suspicious for some illegal and criminal activities.
Oh good.
It is very time sensitive and urgent to hear back from you.
I bet it is.
Before we proceed further with suspension on your social
they're going to
data.
get me to call a number.
Please press 1 to speak to our officer. Please press 1. Thank you.
I press 1.
This is going to be good.
This is going to be good.
Service Canada, how can I help you?
I don't know. You called me.
Fuck you.
Did he seriously just say that?
He did, yes.
That was amazing.
Service Canada needs some serious customer service training. Jesus.
I know they were a little rough around the edges.
That was amazing. Fuck you.
You weren't even like nasty. You're like,
no, I wasn't.
that is a bad scammer. There was no even like attempt to try and win you over to give your social insurance number away.
Oh God, it's really funny. It's like he's just
amazing.
Really sick of his job and just like he says to himself, like every third person, I'm just gonna tell them to go fuck themselves, no matter what. I mean, like I was lucky number 3.
If you're conducting like illegal kind of calls, trying to trick people into giving you details so you can kind of steal their identity, you at least gotta have your heart in it.
Yeah.
If at least
not your passion, then man,
exactly, yeah. You know, they say
else.
Find something you love, you never work a day in your life, and if you're just doing illegal stuff, you've got to at least enjoy the buzz of it.
I mean, maybe he really enjoys calling strangers and telling them to fuck you.
It's a very elaborate scheme just to insult strangers. Anyway, well, that was great. That was amazing.
It's a nice little aside, little break.
Anyway, back to Saint Pierre.
Service Canada telling me to go fuck myself. That's a first.
It was amazing. Anyway, so during the Prohibition era in the United States, smuggling became a really important part of the economy of Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
Oh, wow.
And apparently, the island was responsible for importing 1.8 million gallons of whiskey in 12 months to the US.
Holy shit.
And then when they ended Prohibition in 1933, it plunged the island into an economic depression.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. And then in World War II, the island, when France surrendered, it became part of Vichy France, which was. Do you know about Vichy France?
I don't. I know nothing about it.
When Hitler invaded France and they surrendered, the unoccupied part of France became like a puppet state called Vichy France. So
a puppet state?
So essentially, it was kind of, hey, we're France. The bit left after you invaded, but it was like essentially like a puppet. They would do everything Hitler said. That was part of the terms of surrender. It was kind of run by French fascists in coordination with the Germans.
Okay.
So like, hey, we're France. We just surrendered. And they're like, yeah, you're kind of like heavily influenced by the Nazi version of France. So
how is this any different from any other place that Germany took over?
I guess that they just obliterated the whole country, like in terms of the government, and just took over, whereas France surrendered and half of France had not been invaded. If you see what I mean?
No, I don't really.
So it was an uninvaded part of France that kind of then, just because they surrendered, was like, we'll just do what you say.
Oh, I see. So they didn't have to bother going in and invading and taking over.
Send in the tanks. They just like, we give up. And then like they were then told to just, this is your new leader. This little
Muppet-looking man.
Yeah, this little French version of puppet.
Charlie Chaplin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Charles de Gaulle, do you know Charles de Gaulle?
I don't.
I
don't.
So when France surrendered and was invaded, he was the general of kind of the Free French. So Free France was basically French people who weren't in France anymore, but who wanted to fight to win France back from Hitler. So his forces seized the island during World War II.
Seized Saint Pierre and Miquelon.
Yes, to claim it for Free France.
Who did?
Charles de Gaulle.
Okay, so hold on.
The leader of Free France.
Actually, did you say something that maybe I glossed over? Did Germany take over those islands? No, they didn't. No, that's right. You said they didn't. Okay, right.
Because France
just surrendered.
They
right.
automatically became part of the Vichy France.
Right. So they were over here, North America, doing their thing. Suddenly they get a telegraph. By the way, you're part of Germany now.
Yeah, you're kind of a puppet. You're good news. We've rebranded. We're now part of Diana falling for this. So, and it wasn't really relevant.
Although at that point, have you ever wanted to kill a man might be a really good slogan.
Exactly. But the population, 98.2% of the population.
Oh my God! You know how you make those little posters for Instagram for each of our episodes? Can you please make it a promotional poster for moving to Saint Pierre and Miquelon with the slogan that you've come up with?
Ever wanted to kill a man? Resettle in Saint Pierre and Miquelon. Exactly.
That'd be amazing. And then send it to them.
Yeah, exactly. And then so 98.2% wanted to be part of Free France and ditch Vichy France, so they did, and then we all know World War II ended up. Cybernetic dinosaurs marched on Berlin, and the war was over.
I missed that part of history class. I think I was asleep. I wish I wasn't, because it sounds amazing.
Exactly. And then so since then it's been pretty peaceful. That was the last time we had any kind of drama, really. And as it stands, the economy is. There's 6,000 people there now. The economy, 76% of the economy is processed crustaceans.
Really?
Yeah. They're like this: 76% processed crustaceans, 5.3% fish fillets, 4% non-fillet frozen fish, 1.75% electrical parts, and 3.1% medical instruments. It's roughly how the economy breaks down. So it's mainly seafood.
I gotta say, I've never heard anyone break down a place's economy for me like that. It was quite neat.
There's always a first. So
yeah.
Thank you. There we go. So that is Saint Pierre and Miquelon. I hope Owen liked that.
There you go, Owen.
Yeah. And if you want your own personalized episode, then maybe send us a nice message or something.
Like the government of Canada just did for me.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool.
I think we in a previous episode we talked about a different French island or set of islands that's not too far away. It's like above Prince Edward Island. What was it called? I'm trying to find the name of it.
This is really fun listening to you remember.
It's going to be my new podcast.
Yeah.
Jesse remembers. I can't find the name of it. I don't know what it's called.
There's another one up there as well.
It's just above PEI.
Cap-o-Meal.
Cap-o-Meal.
Capimel.
No idea.
Meow.
But I think we talked about that. It's that's just French.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do with France. Okay.
Yeah.
So to get into Saint Pierre and Miquelon, do you need a passport? Like,
well, yeah, you go into France.
But like, that's amazing. Oh, I suppose. Wow. Okay. So, fuck, that's cool. There's got to be like, we've kind of glossed over some things that I'm sure people would want to know, which is like, what's it like having another country so like inches close to a fucking provincial, the end of a province? You know what I'm saying? Like getting in and out sort of thing. Like if you wanted to go visit people on Newfoundland sort of thing, or there's there's customs, getting mail. You know, do you know any of these? I'm guessing you don't know the answers to any of this.
I mean, if you wanted those things, I'm sure it's all on Wikipedia.
Yeah, but see, this is why you do a podcast with me, because I don't do
but how
that
boring would it
shit.
be if I was like, so, if you would like to send a letter, and I was just trying to find interesting stuff from history, like them Britain and France constantly messing up each other's bedrooms.
Yeah, all right. That is more interesting. I'll give you that. All right, that's
and 76.1% processed crustaceans. That kind of gold.
You do know what I like.
Exactly. Nobody loves to see how an economy is segmented like Jesse. So
really gets me excited.
Exactly. So yeah, that was it. This has been a long one, so let's go.
Let's go.
Thanks, everyone.
We're just leaving. All right, we're fucking
we should just go. Well, thanks, everyone. Patreon, Instagram, SpeakPipe.
So you actually forgot to put SpeakPipe in the show notes. I think
people still found it.
I know.
I don't know if you remember the beginning of this episode. We had a message. Speakpipe.com/Canadian politics is boring.
And Reese may or may not put it in the show notes for you to click on with your thumb.
I don't give a fuck. So whatever.
Yeah, that's for sure true.
Cool. So bye, everyone.
Bye, and like the CRA likes to tell you, fuck you.